No, let's just do country music. Let's do just a whole day of country music today on KHTS 1220 AM. For all across the country, I have listeners everywhere: Chicago, New Jersey, Oregon, Seattle, Texas. And last week, so many emails, so many texts. Thank you so much. And our show is brought to you by one of my favorite. I'm not going to say it's my favorite because I love barbecue, but this place in Newhall, Southern Smoke. Come on, man. This place is so good. If you haven't been over there, it's on Main Street, right down the street from KHTS. It's packed, which is great. So when you see a restaurant that's just full of people, that's where you want to eat. You don't want to go to a place where there's two people in there. So Southern Smoke is packed. Why is it packed? Because their food is fresh. It's made right there. The owner knows what he's doing. The ladies that wait on it, come on, it's Southern Smoke. That's the name of it. Our show brought to you by Southern Smoke. All right, so today I've got a wonderful show, maybe too big a show for all my listeners. If you're driving your car, no texting and driving, maybe pull off the side of the road. We're dedicating today's show called The Business of Life to Harvey. That's your dad.
That was my dad.
No longer with us. And to my grandfather, Harry, who's no longer with us. So my very special guest for the whole hour is Jeff Clyde. And Jeff is maybe one of the nicest people I've ever met. And we only met for a few minutes. And I'm going to ask you this question in a minute. But when you meet somebody, ladies and gentlemen, like Justin, when I met you 10 years ago when you were 7 years old, we liked each other. So think about that. Yeah, think about that first question. When you meet somebody and then you go, holy crap, it's like we've been old friends forever.
Instant.
Isn't it?
Instant.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah, it's instant.
Kind of weird.
It is weird.
So we're going to talk about your book called The Cards You Are Dealt, which I love. I have a deck of cards here. I'm going to pull a couple of cards, and we're going to talk about what the cards say. I want to talk a little bit about your life, why you wrote the book, and we'll get into the book. All right, so the show is brought to you by Southern Smoke. I think it's the best barbecue in the Santa Clarita Valley. Why do I think it's the best barbecue? Because the food is fresh. It's made just exactly the way that you want it. Also, thank you for supporting Lisa's Tax Service. Don't fool around with the IRS. If you've got a problem, call Lisa's Tax Service. Look, if I give you a phone number, you're not going to figure it out anyway, but just remember Lisa's Tax Service. So, Jeff Clyde, I'm a motivational speaker. You're a motivational speaker. You're an expert in networking, so I'm excited to have you because that's all we hear in business is networking. You got to network. So we're going to learn today how to network, right?
That's great. Yes.
And
yes,
you wrote a book about networking. Before we get into your book, let me ask you, why do you think in 2 minutes, two strangers can literally almost bond? What, is that just karma? Is that because you have the kind of personality that people like, and I have the kind of personality people like, you think?
I can go now? My turn? Your turn?
Your turn.
Okay. No, I don't know. I just, sometimes it depends.
You only get 10 seconds for your turn. I like to hear myself talk.
Believe me, I do too.
Go.
No, it's just, I think you just connect. And the minute you can drill down, and for us, we did. We met really recently,
yeah.
And all of a sudden we started talking, and within 30 seconds we knew we liked each other. We knew we had this instant interaction, reaction, whatever it is. And, then we played, I call it Jewish geography, you just call it geography. We played instantly. We knew the same people in the same circles from the same world without knowing each other for all these years.
Amazing.
And so, I would say that you're definitely in my Rolodex, which is still such a thing. I know people don't talk about a Rolodex.
No, I have a Rolodex.
It's still...
Because I'm old school. You're a young man. I'm old school.
But I'm old school by heart. Like, I'm an old soul. I love it. And so, yes, we're instantly fans. Not sure the whole outfit, the ducks and stuff, but we'll go with it.
All right. So, I hate you already.
And by the way, I have no hair either way.
We're number one seed, incidentally. We're playing Duke Thursday night. So, where's your school?
I shouldn't even...
What school did you go to?
I don't have one.
You didn't go to school? Did you get out of high school?
No, I went to Cal State Fullerton, and I'm not a big Titan fan. I should be, but
we took your baseball coach.
You probably took a lot of things.
No, we took your baseball coach. Okay. He's now our coach up at Oregon.
I shouldn't have started a sports conversation because I'm not a sports guy.
Stop it.
I will go with the other stuff.
So,
but I'm a networker.
Before we get into your book, I know we're going to talk about your book. Let me say this, that I think the most important thing in life is the art of communication. Like Justin goes to college, which is great. He's not learning anything, but he thinks he's learning something. You don't learn anything till you get in the real world. Yes or no?
No, I think you learn how to use what you learned in the real world. And I think that when you get out of school, I wish they would teach this. And by the way, just, shameless plug, it's not a plug, but college kids are eating this up because they're not teaching this in school. So you should be able to use this stuff now and not have to wait. I had lunch with a guy yesterday who was a college student at Chapman, and he said, I'm going to start networking now so that when I need a job, he's preparing ahead for doing it. I wish they would have taught that. We didn't learn that.
That's an unusual young man. Look, I'm an ex-teacher. I went to high school, college. Education is so critically important, and I don't want to get off on a tangent. It's the way kids are educated today. All right, let's talk about your book for a second. So I love the cover of your book. First of all, where can they buy the cards you were dealt?
You can buy the cards you were dealt on Amazon.com. Okay. Type in networking with the cards you were dealt, or go to jeffclyde.com, jeffkleid.com, and you can buy the cards. You can buy the book and also a deck of cards that we did, but you can buy it pretty much anywhere. It's on a lot of online retailers as well. While
you're pitching your book, The Cards You Are Dealt, can I pitch my book called The Thinking Room? I teach people how to think. People pay me a ridiculous amount of money to teach them how to think, because there's no place where you learn how to think. There's no class where the teacher sits down and says, okay, this is how we're thinking, but the same place, there's no place to go to really learn how to network. So having you on the show today is such a blessing. Networking is what? What is networking?
Networking is a way to grow your network, whether that's for growing your business, whether that's to ultimately do more sales, or whether it's to find what you're trying to accomplish.
Can you network on Facebook?
You can network on Facebook.
How? How do you network on Facebook?
You can actually engage with others. What you do on Facebook is you figure out a way to see what people need. It's all about giving, by the way. Networking is all about giving, and eventually you will gain. It's a very simple thing. If you go to Facebook and you see someone that's trying to promote, the smokehouse. They're trying to promote Southern Smokehouse. If you see them, they're trying to promote their dinner next week. You need to share that. You need to tell people why it's so great. You need to do exactly what you just did. You need to tell them why you really enjoy it. And two things will happen. One is, people will go there, hopefully, because you have a power and you've shared it, and you've shared your genuine excitement or your authentic approach to it. And at the same time, people will then go, and then the Southern Smokehouse will go, wait a minute, this person's sharing my information. Why do I need to know them? So instantly, you've gained an opportunity. If you're trying to get in front of them, it's great. If you're not, if you're just happy about what you ate, let me ask you.
I'm going to show you a picture. Yeah. This was something I posted the other day on Facebook. That's okay. I rarely wear a suit and tie. Don't I look handsome?
I was going to say, that's you?
Phenomenal. That's me. That's me. There's my glasses. I get incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, I'm close to 5,000. Please go Facebook me friends today. I get 91 likes on a picture. Nice. But if I put in a paragraph on something I think is important, I get 20 likes.
Right.
So pictures of raw chicken would get more likes than something I put on
if people are into raw chicken and they appreciate that you're trying to do something that's fun and just be yourself, and they see the flow, it's really weird. And I'll tell you, I'll take that a step further. There's live stream on Facebook now. I don't know if you know what it is. You can actually get on Facebook and you can just start publishing yourself.
Tell me how to do it.
It's very cool. So you have to set it up, and it's on my phone, but you set it up and you actually can go on Facebook, press live stream, and you can actually videotape yourself. So last week I did it.
Have to show me.
I did it at the Huntington Beach Pier. I had 2 viewers, then I had 6 viewers, then I had 9 viewers, and then I had people asking me questions. And
can we do our show? Can we do our show during the break? We're going to take a break here in a few minutes.
After the break.
No, let's do it during the break. Our break's like 3 or 4 minutes.
But it's very cool, and people just engage, but they have to follow me because I'm on it, or we can get you set up.
All right, the book is called The Cards You Are Dealt. One of the nicest men I've ever met in my life. So let's take... First of all, your marketing is genius. No cool. BS, it's genius. So he makes a deck of cards, ladies and gentlemen, with his logo on it.
Credit to the publishers.
Well, I'm going to pull a card out. I'm just going to pull a card from the deck. Here, Justin, you pull a card from the deck, so it's honest, ladies and see. We're being videoed. We'll be on YouTube next week. Let's see what the card says.
I'm not even looking.
The card says, wow, it's a King of Hearts.
Okay.
And it says, good-natured. You are able to help succeed and win. Your genuine quality is enduring to many. Share the wealth with others. So you and I are both good-natured.
We are good-natured.
So is that something you're born with? Can you learn to be good-natured?
I think you're born with being good-natured, but it can come from something else. You can actually start with a different trait, and it can turn into good-natured. You could take, for example, first of all, not everybody appreciates a good-natured person. If you're shy, or if you're considered a wallflower, or you're one of the other cards, you may think the good-natured person is always trying to sell you. Like, your view of that may be different. But at the same time, you could start out as...
Interesting. So I could not manage my good nature when I was a young man. In my 20s and 30s, I'm born with good energy like you, a happy person like you, but it was misunderstood.
Right.
Wow.
And it could be misunderstood. And at the same time,
I needed you in my life in my 20s.
I'm glad you didn't want me in your life in your 20s, although we were probably doing the same things. Unless, that was a whole
being
good
time
natured we'll forget about.
Can absolutely be misunderstood. Wow.
Yeah, and by the way, gregarious, and I'll give you an example. So, like, I have a 2 of hearts, and just so you know, since you love the poker thought process, and it's actually not just poker, it's Texas Hold'em, because people with the weaker cards can win in Texas Hold'em, where you don't set out to go, I'm going to bluff through a 5-card poker hand. But in Texas Hold'em, you actually say, you know what, these are the cards I'm dealt, I'm going to figure it out, right? So, for example, we have a 2 of hearts that's boisterous. That would be closer to who I am or who I was. And then when I figured out how to wait for the next card, listen to what someone's saying before I spoke my mind, now you're good-natured. Now you're gregarious. So it's the same cards.
Managing, wow. Such an interesting subject. I wish I would have met you 30 years ago. Managing your personality is really learned, and it takes an expert like yourself. I have another show called The Mentoring Show. If you go to SoundCloud or iTunes, every day I put 3 or 4 minutes on there.
That's great.
I do a lot of
definitely
business coaching.
I'd like to hear it.
And I mentor people, and it's interesting that I'm now going to add this part because so many people are misunderstood.
Yeah. It's on both sides, by the way.
Yeah.
It's both sides. Like, as a gregarious or good-natured person, you're like, why is that person sitting by the wall? Why aren't they just engaging? When they're at a networking event, they're a mixer, why don't they just engage with me? But you don't realize they have to take their time. They have to figure it out. And you can't judge them, because at the same time that they're judging you, going, you're selling me something. You're trying to put me in a position where, there's got to be an angle. Instead of, no, it's a good guy. Or, no, you know what? They need to adjust. They need to think about it. And they need to go, okay, I'm shy, but I got to get in. I got to get in the game. I'll use your coach logic. That's the
sad
difference.
that you don't like
I'm trying.
Really sad.
I didn't say I don't like sports. I just said it's not a topic I should have started.
You're just patronizing me. His name is Jeff Clyde, and I'm telling you, I'll have him on the show many times. Jeff Clyde, the book is called The Cards You Are Dealt, and ladies and gentlemen, he's a young man, but he's wise beyond his years. All right, I'm going to pick another card myself.
Okay.
I just learned a lot right there. I just learned that some of the times the 2 people that struggle the most are the gregarious ones and the most quiet ones. Mm-hmm. Because you're afraid of each.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Let me pick another card.
Okay.
Wow.
That's just
I'll pick another card.
No, that's the
Let me
thing.
pick another
Although
card.
we do have like 2 aggressive and 2 and I think 2 passive and 2 aggressive as the jokers, believe it or not, because we thought that was fun.
All right, here's another card. This is the Queen of Diamonds. How many friends? A good friend to all. Wow. Do you use this ability to help others? Your ability to make friends can help others more than you know. How many friends? Let me start it again. How many friends? A good friend to all. That's interesting. So I'm not sure anymore what a good friend is. I've always said a good friend is somebody that walks in when everybody else is walking out. If you've got a problem in your life, everybody is down the street, and that one good friend shows up and says, man, how can I be by your side to help you through your problem?
I think that's a true statement, except I've been so fortunate with friends that have just, I've got, and if you saw the dedication, if you saw the acknowledgments, I've got a dozen people that I thank on a daily basis that I've known for 35 years that are my friends. But I think that card specifically as it relates to an interaction is that if you're known as that person, you need to embrace it, and you need to figure out how to help both the person who may be boisterous and help them fit into the circle of an event or a mixer or a sale. Or you need to take the other approach, and you need to say, okay, if you're shy or you're asocial or you're a wallflower, I need to help you engage, but when you're ready. So the good friend to all needs to kind of balance that. And by the way it's set up is like the 2s through the 7s or 8s are actually traits with struggles that you want to turn into strengths, whereas the 9s through the ace are really strong, just no different than Texas Hold'em. We did it on purpose. That was the intent.
Very clever.
Thank you.
But we're talking about the Queen of Diamonds, which is understanding that, in my mind, it takes a tremendous amount of investment today to have a friendship, right or wrong on that.
It does.
And do you think our society is geared right now to making that investment? Because I wanted to bring something up earlier that we can discuss after the break, and that is young people, and you're still young, but young people, their biggest strength or their biggest challenge is not knowing what lies ahead for them.
Right.
How do I want to say this? And you're a champion networker, you're an expert, that's what your book's about. The book's titled The Cards You Are Dealt, talking to Jeff Clyde. The issue of Twitter, 140 characters, the issue of technology wanting you to get involved in instant gratification, I don't think that's healthy. And I don't think it's a great tool. You're going to disagree right now.
No, I'm not going to disagree. I'm going to actually add to it.
Go.
But
No.
So I don't disagree with you. The thing I would say is that we have to embrace it because it's there and we can't do anything about it. So if you can figure out how to do it without making it about, I'm constantly selling on social media, I'm constantly promoting something, I'm constantly doing something. If you actually do it and go, all right, I'm going to embrace all these things. I'm going to embrace Instagram. I'm going to figure out how to help someone accomplish their goal. At the same time, I might be fortunate enough to get in their face and they see who I am. I don't disagree with you. One-on-one interactions, the handshake, all I'm saying is you've got to do a virtual handshake.
But
now.
How do you network? All right, let's go back to Instagram. I thought Instagram is just pictures.
It's not just pictures. So I'll give you the best example I can give you about how I interacted with somebody on a networking thing. And I was on a panel up in LA a few weeks ago, and by the way, there were 7 guys on the panel. 4 of them were solid rock stars. All of us had what we had, but these guys, I was very impressed with some of these guys. And one of the guys happened to be with a large entertainment agency. And he happened to mention, it was the day before the Oscars, and he mentioned, I've got 2 guys that I represent that are up for an Oscar. He's like, I don't know if they'll win it. He goes, but if they do, I don't know if they'll acknowledge me. But at the same time, he also talked about how he's always on Instagram, right? I happened to be watching the Oscars the next day. By the way, he took a book. I signed a book. He took it home. I wanted his interaction. I never met him before. So I actually was watching the Oscars. His guys won. It was for Spotlight.
Oh my goodness.
So when they won, they're up there speaking, and this year they did a different thing where they had a crawl underneath with all the thank yous because they didn't want people to waste their time. All of a sudden his name comes by, and I go to my wife, stop, rewind, I got to get a picture. I got a picture of it. I'm like, he said Instagram. I posted it on Instagram. I tagged him on Instagram, even though I wasn't following him, I wasn't his friend, but I truly wanted him to know how excited and proud I was of him because he made it a point to point this out. I tagged him, I posted it, a minute later he liked it, a minute later he added me he started following me on Instagram.
Wow.
And I sent him a follow-up private message saying, how you like the book?
So these are little things.
That?
Right, you can. So these are little things, and it's the little things that add up. We're going to come right back. The name of the book is called The Cards You Are Dealt. One of the most fascinating books. Why? Because this author, Jeff Clyde, has put a lot of work. You can just as a last comment, our show is brought to you by Lisa's Tax Service. Look, don't fool with here's a disclaimer. The coach loves the IRS. That's Coach Ron Tunick loves the IRS. But Lisa's Tax Service will keep you from getting that knock on the door at 3 in the morning. You don't want that. Lisa has a background. She is one of the few people in town that is a certified tax preparer. That means she can deal with the IRS. All right. And before we go to break, if you haven't had dinner, if you don't know where you're going to dinner tonight, there's only one place I recommend. It's Old Town Newhall. It's called Southern Smoke, and they make the barbecue just the way you like it. They've got their own unique sauce. Awesome place. I go there for lunch 2 or 3 days a week. Talking to Jeff Clyde, I'm curious about one thing, and that is, I don't get it. I'm on it. It confuses me. Twitter. I mean, where is the value? I get the value in Twitter if you're a rock star. I get the value in Twitter if, God forbid, we're in a horrible situation and you can communicate out anything. But for the rest of us, how do you network on Twitter? Please, because everybody on there is promoting a banana or a sausage or an apple. I don't get Twitter, man.
I'm not sure I get Twitter either.
Oh, that's honest.
But I do.
First honest person I met in my life.
But let me tell you, people are embracing it. So the way I look at it, first of all, I've been on Twitter for a long time.
Me
and
too.
In fact, I'll go back to 2011 when nobody was listening. I was just posting stuff when I was on a juice cleanse trying to figure it out, right? I was just posting stuff randomly, and the few people that followed me like, Jeff, why are you telling me this? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just telling you, it's Twitter. But here's why. Because if somebody believes that's their direction, again, it's what they're trying to accomplish. So why wouldn't I want to be up on it and
Do you
follow
follow anybody on Twitter?
Of course.
But do you really
No, I do. I read things. I watch the feeds. I embrace things. And if I see something I like, I absolutely jump in and
I'm going to follow
help
you
them.
on Twitter.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me get
And a lot of authors are following me on Twitter lately. It's very funny. It's pretty crazy.
Well, you're a special person. I get why people would follow you. You're smart. We have to go to break. Why, Justin? We'll be right back on the show we call The Business Life.
I see him waving at you.
Talking about networking.
I don't want to
today.
interrupt.
Because if you own a business or you're going to start a business, you better learn how to network. We're going to come back. We'll get into the weeds of networking on the show we call The Business of Life.